we covered last week. We'll just review that a little bit and then we'll move forward. What page is it for you? 21? 59. Okay, we'll read it together. Idamaham padadhityamannam ahamilina ketyalaya sattaya vigrahindriya pranadhitamaha nahamekasa tadjadam yasa sattvabhasika chitvavetara sattaya hichitaya. Okay, so what we saw last week was this ego, which is illusory in nature. It is impermanent, but not only is it impermanent, it is dependent on consciousness for its existence. How do we mean? Normally, we take ourselves to be the waker. That I am this person who is the waker. But when this waker moves into the dream world, there's no sense of I anymore there. There's no sense of Shubhani, this body, this mind. When I move on to the dream world, I now take on a different identity, which is called the dreamer, right? And I might have a different name, a different body, a different mind. I may look totally different. And then when I go to deep sleep, I lose that dreamer identity, and actually I have no sense of I. I have no sense of the ego. I have no sense of who I am. So this means to us that not only is this waking identity temporary, because in the dream this person is not there, in deep sleep this person is not there, but all of this exists in consciousness. It cannot exist apart from consciousness. So that ego is something we call as illusory. Illusory, we call it asat, meaning just apparent reality. And when we think of totality also, the same thing happens. When I am in the waking state, I experience the entire waking world. But when I go to dream state, my waking world is also swallowed up. And in the dream state, I am now a dreamer, and I have a whole different world. I have a dream world. And when I go into deep sleep, there's the deep sleeper, and there's a deep sleep blankness. So that is why we say also that this world is an apparent reality, because it gets negated from one state to another. Our experience of the existence of the world, it gets negated from one state to another. Our experience of the existence of I, this personality, gets negated from one state to another. So our Upanishads and also this text tells us to inquire into the nature of that. And when we inquire, we realize that our real nature is Sat and Chit. Sat meaning existence, Chit meaning awareness. Our real nature is this changeless existence, which is also an awareness. There's something at the core of you which is changeless. No matter how many times your body has changed, your mind has changed, your personality has changed, there's something at the core of you which is changeless. And there's something within you that reveals everything, that reveals your thoughts, reveals your body, reveals everything. That is consciousness. So the core of you is existence, the core of you is consciousness. And it's really the same thing. Existence is consciousness, consciousness is existence. It's that same reality When you look at it from one standpoint of being changeless, you call it existence. When you look at it from another standpoint of being awareness, you call it consciousness. So in this way, he establishes our true identity. And some might question, it's Sat-Chit Ananda. Usually we hear this expression, Sat-Chit Ananda. What is the Ananda there? Ananda comes from Ananta, which means infinite. So this infinite existence is infinite consciousness. It's indivisible. It's only one. Right? This we have seen last week. Just refreshing it. Okay? Now, we're going to go today to verse number 24. Okay? I'll read that, and then please repeat after me. Isha jivayor veshati vida. Sat svabhavato Now, a question is asked as to, I understand that this individual is apparent, it's illusory. Slowly I'm beginning to understand. I'm beginning to understand slowly that this world is apparently existing. But what about God? Can you tell me about God? About Ishwara? What is the nature of God? Here, very clearly it says Isha. Isha means God. Jiva. Jiva means the individual. Between the two, Bheda. The difference is in the V, from the standpoint of the Vesha, from the standpoint of the attire. Sat Swabhavataha, from the standpoint of their true nature, Vastu Kevalam, supreme reality alone is. Now, how to understand this? Now, think of a point. Let's just think of a point, right? Now, there's a point here, and with respect to this point, I'm drawing a small circle. And with respect to this point, I'm drawing a big circle. So same point with this respect, I'm drawing a small circle, and then with respect to it, I'm drawing a big circle. Consciousness is that point with reference to individuality. The small circle is called Jiva. Consciousness with reference to totality, the big circle, is called Ishwara. So when consciousness is associated with an individual body, individual mind, individual intellect, individual personality, that's called Jiva. When consciousness is associated with the total body, total mind, total intellect, that is called Ishwara. So it's the same consciousness. It's the same consciousness. The example that we commonly give is the wave and the ocean. Ishwara is like a big ocean, all knowing, all capable, all powerful. And Jiva is like a wave, a small wave, very limited in knowledge, limited ability, limited strength. The ocean is not the wave. We're not saying that. We're not saying that Ishwara is Jiva. No. But the essence of the ocean is water. The essence of the wave is water. The essence of both are the same. So we're not saying that the human is God. We're saying that the essence of the human being, any being, and the essence of God is one and the same. That it's the conditionings that set it apart. And these conditionings, which we call the body, mind, intellect, the total world, these are just apparent. Huh? Like we said, this individual body, mind, intellect is only there where? The waking state. In the dream state, it's no more there. So these conditionings are only apparent. In the next state, it changes. In the next state, it changes. The total world that we see, this is also apparent. In the next state, it changes. In the next state, it changes. So these are only apparent conditionings. The reality of both is consciousness. When you go underneath the water, what is there? There's no wave. There's no wave. And there's no inkling of an ocean. You just get water. It is like a lady. You have a woman. Now, with reference to her mother, she is the daughter. With reference to her daughter, what is she? She's a mother. So is she a mother or is she a daughter? Or none of them? Huh? In that particular circumstance, in that particular state, she's both. Correct? But when you go to dream state, what happens? It's not present anymore. Right? So those reference points are only there at a certain point, at a certain time. Her real identity is she is actually free from both. You get a man. Huh? To his father, he is a son. But to his son, he's a father. So we might think he has both identities. He's a son and he's a father. But actually, under that point, under that time, under that circumstance, yes, you can say he has both identities. But those identities are just transactional. The minute he moves to another state, they're not there. Huh? So Isha, Ishwara and Jiva are just relative terms. Relative terms taking into account conditionings of consciousness. But in reality, it is just one and the same. One and the same. If you take the example of great saints and sages, like let us say Mirabai. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Sant Mirabai, right? She started how? She worshipped Sri Krishna. She worshipped Sri Krishna as one form. And she used to love that Krishna. She loved that Krishna. She put alankara, different ornaments on Sri Krishna. She danced for Sri Krishna. She sang for him. He was her everything. And she had that murti in front of her. And that's who she thought Sri Krishna was. As she grew in her devotion, when she left home and she went and searched for Krishna, wanting to find where is her Krishna, she started seeing Sri Krishna everywhere. And you can see this in her poetry. She says that Krishna is in the stars, he's in the moon, he's in the sky. Everywhere I turn, I only see Krishna. I cannot see anything else but Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And towards the end of her life, she realizes that Krishna is actually in me. Krishna is in me. I have been looking outside for Krishna, longing for Krishna, but actually he is the reality in me. If we say that God is within, why are we having all of these temples? Why do we have an altar? Why do we have all of these things around us? Why do we pray? Why do we say prayers? God is within. What are we doing? See, our culture is so beautiful. It starts with Ekarupa. And I mentioned this also when we were studying Bhakti. The problem is, God is everywhere, but we don't know that God is everywhere. God is inside us, but we're not able to grasp that God is inside us. We're not able to grasp it. So we start with Ekarupa, meaning worship one form. Whatever be that form, you take it and make it your life. Take it and make it your own, and let your thoughts, let your words, let your deeds be dedicated to that particular form. Just worship that form. What happens when we do that? The mind gets settled, the mind gets pure, and aneka rupa. We start seeing that form in different areas. If we are worshipping Shiva, we'll start seeing Shiva in Krishna, Shiva in Devi, Shiva in Hanuman. We'll start seeing Shiva in all other forms. So from Ekarupa, Anekarupa. A time will come where all we will see is Shiva, Vishwarupa. All we will see is Shiva. The whole world to us is just Shiva, 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 and we cannot unsee Shiva. All we actually see is Shiva. It's very difficult not to see him. Then subtler we will begin to understand that Shiva is actually formless, and he is appearing as this world. He is Arupa, formless. Then we will come to understand that Shiva is in me, Shiva, Swarupa. So from Ekarupa, Anekarupa, Vishwarupa, Arupa, Swarupa. That is the journey. That is why we have all these forms. That is why we have all these temples. We have these prayers, because our minds need to be tuned, subtle, sharp to turn within. If you don't have that, it's very difficult to turn within and find God. It's very difficult. So Isha and Jiva, what is the difference? Just the outer condition. Inside, we are one. In essence, we are one. Now further, he will explain this. Verse number 25. Vishahanatah svatmadarshanam. Ishadarshanam svatmarupatah. Together. Vishahanatah svatmadarshanam. Ishadarshanam svatmarupatah. So what he says here is Veshahanatah, the one who gives up these conditionings, meaning the one who's able to see through the conditionings, Svatmadarshanam, has the vision of the self. Ishadarshanam, the vision of the Lord, Svatmarupataha, has the vision of the Lord as the vision of the self. One who gives up the conditionings gains self-realization. The vision of the Lord as the self is true God realization. Somebody asked Bhagavan Maharshi, Bhagavan, does Bhagavan have a form or not? Does God have a form or not? And Bhagavan Maharshi said, do you have a form or not? If we are so stuck up in our forms, then we worship God with a form. If we understand that in essence we are formless, then realize that God is formless. So does God have a form or is God formless? Depends on where we are in our spiritual life. Should I worship God with a form or formless? Just sit quietly. Can you hold the formless? You can't hold the formless, worship the form. The best way is to worship the form and then go to the formless. Go to the formless via form. A question may come as to, we have heard that there have been many great saints who had darshan of Bhagavan. Actually, they saw Bhagavan in front of them. Actually, they had this. Like Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Ji, he had darshan of Kali Mata. He saw her. Swami Shivananda Ji, they say, had darshan of Shri Krishna. So we hear that great Mahatmas had darshans of God, Goddess. They had direct darshan. So what is that supposed to be? Now remember, that darshan or that vision is limited. It's not the real essence of God. Because that vision comes and it goes. That vision comes and it goes. It's temporary. Second is, where is that vision being seen? In you, the seer. So actually you are giving life to that vision. That vision is because of you. It's your thought. So it is taking place in you. You are the seer. That's the object. That is seen. So if I am seeing Bhagavan as the object and I am the subject, that means I am greater than Bhagavan. I am the seer, Bhagavan is the seen. So that darshan is not the real essence. Although it can happen. It can happen. It is highly possible it happens because sounds generate forms. When we chant a mantra enough times, thousands of times, millions of times, it has the ability to manifest form. You must have seen in YouTube, there are experiments on sand. So what they have sand on a plate, and when you play different sounds to that sand, it moves. It moves, it takes up different forms. Right? So it is highly possible to have an image of God come in front of you. And highly possible. Due to the vibration of sound. And this is a very beautiful, it's not easy. It's a very, very beautiful thing. And when we have it, it is divine, but it is not the end all, be all. Even with Swami Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Ji, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Ji, he had a vision of Kali Mata, not once, so many times, but one great Mahatma came to him by the name of Totapuri. And that Mahatma told him, you will have to cut Kali. Means you will have to cut through the form of Kali to get to the bottom of who she really is. You worship her as a mother, which is wonderful, which is great, but you have to cut through and realize that you are one with her. And so he had to do that. In his deep meditation, he cut through the form of Kali and he realized his oneness of Kali. He realized that they are one and the same. So, Veshahanataha, when we remove the layers of conditionings, we realize that we are really one with God. That is why when people say, you are what you seek, we are all seeking God. God meaning infinite happiness, effortless happiness, natural happiness. We are all seeking that. Where does that lie? Within. You are what you seek. It's already inside of you. Veshahanataha Swatmadarshana, you see God as yourself. And that Isha Darshana, that vision of God, is the nature of the self. Another question might come to your mind. Now, if great Mahatmas and enlightened sages have realized that God is really within me, will they still worship an outer form? Will they still chant? Will they still perform puja? Will they do japa? Will they visit temples? Will they go on pilgrimages? The answer is yes. And they will do it with so much more dedication than you and I. When you and I go in front of God, what do we say? Please give me good health. Please get me a raise in my job. please make sure my children get into the school. We go and we beg. We beg for the world. We go to God and we beg for the world. We use God to get the world. When a great Mahatma goes in front of God, they go with utter gratitude because they realize that it is only because of the grace of God that we are here today. The realization of the self is only possible with the grace of God, and they are always thankful. Because I worshipped you for so long, my mind became pure. Because I worshipped you for so long, my mind became still. Because I worshipped you for so long, my mind became divine. Because of your grace, I was able to realize that we are truly one. And for that, I am ever grateful. And if I have the chance to pray and to chant your name, to worship you, I would only ask for one thing, not the world, because I have found you. I will only ask for more and more devotion unto your lotus feet. That is why a Mahatma prays to Ishwara, to God. So that is the depth of our scriptures. You see, in life, we require 4 graces. Only if these 4 graces are there, then we can realize our true being. The first grace is called Atma Kripa. Atma Kripa means that self-effort. That yes, I am going to make an effort to do well. I'm going to make an effort to live a divine life. I'm going to make an effort to become a better person. That is called Atma Kripa, the grace of self-effort. That I am going to work to lift myself. And when we are putting so much effort, the next grace comes to us. It's called Ishwara Kripa, the grace of God. We will feel the presence of God in our lives. We will start to be able to connect to God, to worship God, do puja, do japa. We'll feel that sense of security, that ease, that love. A bhakta is the one who doesn't only feel that I love God, but God loves me. That Bhagavan actually loves me, Bhagavan cares for me. And when we have that relationship, we have Ishwara Kripa, grace of God. And when Bhagavan becomes pleased with the devotee, he gives Guru Kripa. That's the third grace, the grace of a Guru. Somebody will come into our lives to share with us knowledge, to share with us these higher teachings, to share with us how to walk the path. Somebody will actually come and show that to us. Now we are very grateful we have Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi Ji through this book, Upadesha Sara. We have Puja Gurudev, who has shown us through so many scriptures how to walk that path. A Guru will come into our lives. And when we are able to connect with the Guru, tune into a Guru, listen to the words of a Guru, the fourth grace comes alive. That's called Shastra Kripa, the grace of scriptures. The grace of scriptures come alive when I start reading the scriptures, I start studying them, and the words are coming to life. I am beginning to understand what they're saying. And they're touching my heart. And they're causing a transformation in my life which I never even thought possible. Shastra Kripa. So an enlightened being knows that life came because of these 4 graces. They came because of Atma Kripa, but Ishwara Kripa, grace of God, Guru Kripa, the grace of Guru, Shastra Kripa, the grace of Shastras. So their whole life is just an offering to that grace. So they will still pray, they will chant the name. They will still worship. They will still close their eyes. And they will still fall at the feet of God. Though they know that everything is one, it is their compassion, their gratitude, their love, which makes them play too. Even if they know there's one, they enjoy playing too. They enjoy being the worshipper, being at the feet of the worshipped. So that is the crux of these two verses. Anybody have any questions? Yeah?
I find the ordering of the 4 Kripas interesting. That Guru Kripa comes after Ishwara.
Yeah.
Is there some deeper meaning behind that?
The deeper meaning is Guru is Ishwara's Sakshat Ishwara. See, there are many avatars of Bhagavan. There's Purna Avatara, comes as Sri Rama and Sri Krishna. Right? There's Amsha Avatara, it's a portion, Matsya Avatara, Kurma Avatara. But there is an avatar called Mad Anugraha Avatara, which means that God Himself comes as Guru to bless. So Ishwara Himself comes as Guru. Guru is the avatar of Bhagavan. So when Ishwara is pleased, Adi Shankaracharya ji, he writes a very beautiful verse about it. He says, after many, many years of us worshipping Ishwara, Ishwara becomes pleased and says that this Jiva now needs me. Sakshat Tik Gochara, Ishwara comes as Guru for that Jiva. That's the order. Because Guru is Ishwara. Yeah. And the beauty is through Guru we can get Shastra. Somebody gives an example of like a tape. Back in the day we had cassette tapes. Right? So when we study scriptures on our own, it is like getting a blank cassette tape. Cassette tape and not knowing what to do with this cassette tape. Where do I put it? How do I listen to it? But when you put it on the radio or that player and you press play, then all the sound comes. Guru is like that. When we take Shastra, we look at it, we're like, how do we use this? How do we understand these words? How do we interpret this? And then when Guru takes it, and Guru just opens it up, we're like, wow, that's what that means? So Guru is the one who opens Shastra. Otherwise, for us, our minds are not so pure that we can open it up. You know, sometimes when you read a book, or you pick up a book, and first time you read it, you don't understand what it is. 10 years later, you read it, and you're like, oh, that's what it meant. So many times we don't have that purity to just understand. So Guru has that ability to open it up. So that's why Guru then Shastra. Any other thoughts or questions? Yeah?
Okay, I am a father, I'm a son, but reality about this.
Yeah.
Then who am I?
That's what this is telling you, huh? You're the one who illumines the Father and the Son. Yeah? You're not that ego, you are that pure consciousness. When you keep inquiring, see, we saw this last week also. Body keeps changing. Yeah. Right? Mind also keeps changing. Your identity also keeps changing. Father, son, co-worker, friend, this, that. But at the core of you, there's something changeless. That's your real identity. That changeless being at the core of you is called Atman. And it is that Atman which illumines all of this. That is what you have to find. Because that is the source of all bliss.
Is there any identity?
No, it's all apparent. Were you there when we watched that video on Jim Carrey? You were there.
Yeah.
So that identity is all apparent. It's all apparent. There's no, it doesn't hold water. You keep poking into it, and you will see what remains is just pure awareness. You sit quietly, you poke into your ego. Just poke into it, find out who am I? This is Bhagwan Ramana Maharshiji's way. Who am I? Who am I? What is that? What is that? That very ego will dissolve. And what is left is just you. Pure, changeless consciousness awareness. That is you. Because if you can lose something, it's not you. You understand? You are able to lose father. You're able to lose son. You are what you can never lose. That is the real. If you can lose something, how is that you? So you are what you cannot be without. You are what you cannot be without. If you can be without a certain identity, you are not that identity. More of it will take up next. Yeah? Oh.